Hello, children. We were studying health and hygiene, and today we will study about communicable diseases. Communicable diseases means the infectious diseases, okay? Means those diseases which can spread from one person or animal to another person or animal. So the microbial diseases that spread from an infected person to other healthy persons, either through air, water, food, physical contact, or by animals or insects, are called communicable diseases. Alright, so these are the different agents. Through different agents, this disease can be transmitted from the infected person to the healthy person. Examples are cholera, common cold, etc. So these are the communicable diseases. Okay, now we will see that what are the different modes of transmission. Now, as I told you that there are different agents, different modes through which this disease, these communicable diseases can be transmitted from the infected person to the healthy person. The first mode is through the air we breathe. Now, air might have those small droplets, okay, and in the air, the fungal spores, then different microbes that cause common cold, then tuberculosis, all these microbes, they can be spread through the air that we breathe. For example, if a person has or is suffering from common cold, like in this picture you can see there is one person who is sneezing, okay, so when the person will cough or sneeze, and while he is coughing or sneezing, if another person is standing nearby, then what will happen? Fine droplets they are thrown out while the person sneezes, and in those fine droplets are present the disease causing agents, that is the virus will be present. Okay, so what happens is, now when the healthy person is going to breathe in, then those viruses will enter the healthy person's body, and this will cause the disease. Okay, so that is why it is always advised that we should keep our hand or handkerchief on our mouth and nose whenever we are coughing or sneezing. Then the second mode of transmission is through the water that we drink. Children, if the water is contaminated, if it is impure, and if we are consuming such water, then the disease causing agents might enter our body and cause infection. One example is cholera. The cholera causing microbe enters healthy person through contaminated water. And one more thing, children, you will find in your books that it is written that whenever there is a natural calamity or a flood, after that it is advised that people should take extra care, extra precaution while consuming water, and it is advised to drink boiled water. Why? Because after any flood or such natural calamity, it is seen that the disease causing microbes they increase, okay, in water. So we have to be more precautious, and always if we boil water for around 10 to 15 minutes, or ideal is 20 minutes, then all the germs get killed, and boiling of water is the best way to consume it. Okay, boiling the water and then allowing it to cool at the room temperature, and then if we consume that water, it is safe. Then through food we eat. Now if the food is contaminated, if what happens is that in soil, fungal spores, bacteria, protozoa, they are all present in soil. Now whenever the vegetables or fruits that we get from the market, they might be having those fungal spores or bacteria on them. So if we are not washing it properly before consumption, then those microbes can enter our body. That is why it is again advised to wash vegetables and fruits after bringing them from the market. Okay, now one more thing is there, children, that some of us, we are very fond of consuming street food, and if they are not prepared under hygienic conditions, then they also might be contaminated and again can cause diseases. Next mode of transmission is through direct contact. Now, if a person is suffering from a contagious disease, from any infection, and if we use that person's articles, like if a person is having some fungal infection in his body, and if we use that same person's towel or comb, then what will happen? We might also get the infection. Okay, so we should avoid such type of contact with people who are already suffering from any infection. And the safest thing is to not to share any such items ever. Whether the other person is infected or not, we should always use our own personal belongings. Okay, so direct contact with the, and children, if we are doing handshake or hugging the infected person, if the person is suffering from any fungal disease, any skin problem, then also there are chances that the healthy person might catch it. So direct contact with the infected person by using his articles like glasses, towel, comb, etc. And examples are ringworm infection. Now ringworm infection is a fungal infection. Okay, then conjunctivitis, it is eye inflammation, where it is also commonly known as pink eye. And if direct contact is not avoided, if somehow the healthy person comes in touch of the eye secretions from somebody who's infected, then the healthy person will also get conjunctivitis. Then chicken pox, AIDS, and AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Okay, this is a viral disease, and means it is spread through a virus, and it is a very dangerous disease because it completely destroys the immunity system of the infected person. So these diseases are examples of diseases that are transmitted through direct contact. Then through animals and insects. Some animals and insects, they act as carriers of disease causing microbes, and such animals or insects are known as vectors. Alright, now with the examples it will become more clear. Like first example is of an housefly. See the picture, children. Here you can see that the housefly is sitting on something that is quite filthy, very dirty. Okay, now if this housefly, after sitting on a dirty place, comes and sits on our food, our exposed cooked food, then what will happen? Whatever contamination it had brought, it will settle those contamination or fix those contaminations in the food item that we are about to consume. So in this way they also carry germs or disease causing microbes. Okay, so housefly is the most dangerous disease carrier. It may sit on exposed cooked food and leave the disease causing microbe on the food. And commonly occurring diseases are cholera, typhoid, and dysentery. These are the diseases that we get. Generally they are vector borne. Cockroaches. Children, you all know that cockroaches, they live in dirty places like sewage pipelines, and if coming from such place and they settle on the cooking utensils, if they sit there, or if they are they just somehow come and get in contact with the cooked food, then what will happen? Again, they can also cause serious diseases. Okay, so again, cholera, dysentery, typhoid, they can be spread by cockroaches also, apart from housefly. Then mosquito. Now children, this is very important. Even from your examination point of view, you should know that what all diseases are spread through mosquito. Now female Anopheles mosquito, inside this mosquito's body there is a protozoa known as plasmodium, and plasmodium is responsible for malaria. So whenever this female Anopheles mosquito settles on a human body and sits to suck the blood, then while doing so it transmits that protozoa into the human blood. Alright, so plasmodium lives inside this female Anopheles mosquito's body, and whenever the mosquito sucks our blood, then this mosquito might transmit this plasmodium into human blood, and this causes malaria. Same is the case with Aedes mosquito. It is the carrier of dengue virus. Now, how we can avoid, how we can prevent these contagious diseases? by taking certain measures against them. So the first measure is that we should wash the vegetables and fruits properly before consuming them. As soon as they are brought from the market, they should be washed properly with water. Drinking water should be boiled. We should try to boil the water, and specifically if there are chances of infection, then we should do it by ourselves. Keep the patient suffering from any communicable disease in complete isolation, and keep his personal belongings away from others. So children, if a person is already infected, is already having some infection, is suffering, then such person should be living in complete isolation, so that the person does not become the means or a mode for transmitting it to another healthy person. And the personal belongings should be kept away. As I told you, it's better not to use the personal belongings of a person who's already infected. Maintain personal and community hygiene. Children, I have taught you this before also, that maintaining cleanliness, ensuring that we are taking bath and washing our hands again and again, these little things, maintaining hygiene, maintaining cleanliness, these all good habits if we inculcate, then we are in a way preventing such diseases, microbial diseases. Okay, and on a personal level as well as on a community level. Now, keeping ourselves clean but disposing garbage in wrong ways, or not keeping our surroundings clean, this is not going to help. We have to maintain hygiene on personal as well as on community level. Vaccination should be given at proper age. This is very important. And stale food should not be eaten. I hope children you understand what is stale food. Okay, if like suppose I've prepared something today morning, I should not consume it next day morning or next day afternoon. Okay, so cooked food kept for a very long period of time should not be consumed. Now, how to control these vectors? How to control housefly and mosquitoes? Housefly can be controlled by maintaining proper sanitation, like in the toilets, in the kitchen. If we maintain proper sanitation, then we can control houseflies. You will never find them sitting on very clean, neat and clean places or sanitized places. Okay, they settle on filth, on dirt. So if we are maintaining proper sanitation, then there are very less chances of housefly entering those places. Food must be kept covered. Then proper disposal of garbage. We do not want that in the nearby areas garbage disposal happens, because we all know that the place which is full of garbage, or wherever the garbage is dumped, it becomes a breeding ground for flies and mosquitoes. Then use of insecticides. Insecticides can be sprayed to kill the houseflies. Similarly, to control mosquitoes, what can be done? Windows and doors should have wire nettings, and we can use insect repellent creams. Then whatever areas are open, right, first of all, whenever they have their breeding season, or if we know that there are too many mosquitoes outside, then we should try to wear full sleeve clothes. And the exposed areas, in those areas we should put insect repellent creams. Then sleeping under mosquito net is a good thing. Spraying insecticides for adult mosquitoes and for larva. What is a larva? It is, see children, there is a life cycle. Okay, so from the eggs, then larva comes, then another developmental stage will come, and then finally adult mosquito is formed. So it has different developmental stages. So one such developmental stage is larval stage, and mosquito larvae, they are found in stagnant water. Okay, when I say stagnant water, that means water which is at one place for a very long period of time. So there the larval growth of mosquitoes happen. How can we stop that? By just putting some kerosene oil. If you sprinkle some kerosene oil on those stagnant water bodies, means the water that is standing for a very long period of time, if you sprinkle some kerosene, then the larvae, they die. Okay, then do not allow collection of water in uncovered containers, like tanks, coolers. Okay, they should be kept dry. We should not allow water to stay for a very long period of time. And keep the surroundings clean and dry. As I told you, if the area is very clean, very dry, sanitized, then you will not find such vectors there. All right, now this is a list of communicable diseases, some examples, and how they are spread. Okay, although if you study your book, pages 69 to 70, you will find all these, but this is like all the communicable diseases together in a table. So if you read this, study this table, then you will, at one glance, you will see all the examples here. Children, on page number 69, there is this figure 5.16, different modes of transmission of diseases. This figure is very important. Okay, so you should practice this and you should draw this in your notebook. This diagram is very important, because whatever we have studied till now, this diagram is a summary of this entire topic. All right, children, thank you very much.